And we are live. Welcome everybody welcome back to the Freeskates podcast. We are here on episode 44 talking about some Freeskate memories, specifically Freeskating encounters and mine and Jack's experience of Freeskating. So I feel like as Freeskaters, we all have had the experience at the very least of someone asking what we're riding on, people coming up to us, or even better, running into fellow free skaters and making friends that way, or really any other special encounters along the way. So that's what me and Jack are here today to talk about. And I'll go through and welcome some people in the live chat. What's up, Steph? Nice to see you here.
Good to see you.
Representing. We got Kenji. I believe that's Kenji.
Kenji, yep.
Hey. And BS Zero Man, happy Free Skate Tuesday. You got to say that every single week.
Yes.
Nice.
He's out skating every day. I see him just about every day. Super cool to see.
If you guys have Instagrams, which I'm sure you guys do, feel free to drop them in the chat so people know who you are and where to follow you. Steph says, how's California treating you, Jack?
Oh, it has been great so far. We were just biking on the boardwalk. I just got an electric bike yesterday, so that was pretty fun to ride the boardwalk in a different aspect. I'm usually always on these when I ride the boardwalk down here, so it was cool to do that. I mean, the people down here are super cool, so doing a free skate Thursday and Friday was a dream come true. Last time I was down here, I didn't get to do the free skate Friday because it rained, so it was really cool to meet all the free skate Friday people. On most of them were on roller skates, but there were a few free skaters, so it was pretty fun.
Nice. Peter, hey, free skaters. Thanks for joining, Peter. Good to see you. Hey, Blender.
Let's go.
We saw him at the Thursday skate.
Yes. Thanks for letting me ride your skates and getting the awesome footage.
How were those? The light ups?
The light ups? I still need to make a post about those because they're just super cool. And he is next level, just, I don't know, tech wizard when it comes to like doing stuff like that. Super cool to see.
Gotcha. Yeah. I'm trying to think of the story that I should start with, unless you have anything that immediately comes to mind.
There are just too many flooding into my memory as soon as I think about it. But I mean, I think I've already told the one that's like most memorable in terms of like someone recognizing you on the skates, and it was the cop that used his siren to say, "Those are sick," and then kept driving by. That was probably one of my most favorite, but in terms of like just random, like, unexpected encounters.
Well, I guess I can start with my first encounter, which is, I think I've told, so I'll keep it brief, but running into a free skater in one of my college courses. I didn't know what free skates were at the time. I had only seen them and didn't know what to call them. But this guy asked me to come back to his dorms so I could check out his skates, which I thought was really weird. But for some reason, I agreed. And he showed me his free skates. And that was a cool little moment that we shared. I don't know if that's really an encounter of a free skater.
I'd say it is.
It is, yeah.
For sure. That's how you got on them, basically.
And just a few other ones of, I would say one of the moments you get out here semi-frequently is running into somebody who says, hey, can I try those? And then it turns out they already know how to ride and they just like right away.
Yeah, that's the crazy ones. We've had that. I experienced that with you the one time I was down here several months back. The one that was like, oh, I remember Maddie from back in the day. And then he turned around and Maddie was right there.
Yeah, that was that was
one of the cooler interactions I've ever
had. Yeah, this dude came up to me and Jack on the boardwalk and he was like, hey, like, I remember seeing those back in the day. It's like talking all about the free lines and stuff. And he was like, do you know Matty Tice? It's like, where's he at these days? And we were like, you mean this guy? And Matty was standing right behind him. And he had to do like a triple take because he doesn't look like Matty anymore as far as like the facial hair. But super cool interaction. I actually got part of that on video. So maybe I should make a post about that.
Actually, I remember that.
Dig up that footage.
I remember he said something about meeting him back in the day at like one of the expos they did.
Yeah.
Something like that.
A lot of people say they met Matty that way. They're like, oh, remember Matty Tice from an event I went to. And he's still around for sure. So Steph says, "Are you still talking to the guy, Gabe?" What do you mean by
talking to the guy? Are you still talking to that guy that we ran into on the boardwalk? Maybe.
Oh, the guy who was asking about Maddie? I am not. Or maybe you're talking about the guy who is in my college course. Yes, I still talk to him. He's responsible for teaching me how to free skate, and yeah, really just showing me the ropes for the first time. That's the first. His skates were the first skates I ever stepped onto. He somehow lent them to me for a week, and I just about had them sending. I just about sent them into a storm drain, and they were a gift from someone who got the free skates all the way in China. So glad I didn't do that. But let's see, what's another one of your cool interactions, cool moments?
Let me think. I used to throw light up wheels on the bottom of my skates, and those would get twice as much eyes as the free skates already do. And I don't have like a ton of or one exact memorable moment, but I'd skate through like the entire city of Minneapolis with those. And that was just a surreal experience. Like it felt like I was like, I don't know, it's just like so futuristic when you see like you look down and there's just light up wheels on the they're a lot more brighter than air blenders, I feel like, because they're just, I don't know, they just give off more vibrant light maybe. But I'm sure maybe
air blenders
or a blender, sorry.
Oh, a blenders, yeah.
Jason. I should just start addressing him by Jason. I just talk to everyone, like everyone on Instagram or YouTube or anything. We just talk to each other by our tags and stuff.
Mm-hmm. There was a cool moment a couple months ago. I was hanging around downtown San Diego. There's this area called Little Italy with a lot of Italian restaurants. And I was about to go in and eat with my friends when I realized my parking on my car was expiring and I needed to move somewhere else. And right as I was trying to move my car, I took one look to my right, and there's what looks like a free skater just crossing the intersection like a couple blocks down. And usually when that happens, it's like it doesn't end up being a free skater. It's someone on one of those cruiser boards or a ripstick or something where their legs are kind of just like flailing around.
Snakeboard maybe or something.
Yeah. So I was like, no, there's no way. And then I took one more look, and the dude's on JMK. So it's like unmistakable. He has like a cool style. And usually at this point, I know who it is. But I had never seen this guy before. So I booked it. I started chasing him like a madman down the street, and eventually caught up to him. And he ended up not even knowing who I was, or that he didn't even know Freeskates were in San Diego. He didn't know anything much about JMK. He just thought Freeskates were really cool, and he got a set from JMK. But
he must have seen an ad or something and just immediately clicked on it and like bought them or something. Yeah, something like that.
But even so, it was like an immediate moment of, oh, okay, we're friends now because we both understand how cool this stuff is. So he asked, like, what I'm doing in San Diego. I said, this is where freeskating is. This is the home in the U.S. And I explained the whole story to him, and I said, what are you doing later, or what are you doing next? And he said, I'm trying to find a restaurant to eat in Little Italy. It's exactly what I was doing. So I just invited him to sit down with my friends, and over Italian lunch we had a discussion about free skates, and it was one of my favorite memories, probably because just how random and
organic it is. That was so.
We sat down, kind of poured out each other's life stories, and followed each other on Instagram and talked about the history of the sport, which was super cool. And that was all just because we both free skate. So
I don't think I've asked you. Have you ridden with him or ridden with him again since?
So he was on his first solo trip ever to anywhere by himself, and he just for some reason chose to go to San Diego. I'm pretty sure he was from Arizona, but he said, okay, now he definitely has to come back again because he didn't have time to visit the HQ or anything.
Yeah, he's got to come see Maddie.
But yeah, he had never seen another free skater in his life. So it was a pretty cool interaction. That's probably one of my favorites.
Yeah, that sounds pretty sweet. I've only ran into like one other person that said they've had them in their closet and they haven't touched them in a few years. I mean, other than stuff, but that's not like organic, I guess, because we messaged up on Instagram and then planned a skate session, which is still super fun and super cool. And some of my better memories with a free skater are with Steph, probably in Minnesota. or my brother, or I have a buddy who I've been free skating with for around 4 years probably. But Steph's like the one that'll come to the skate park with me most often, so that's where we share like the most similarities in that aspect. It's really fun to ride with him.
Yeah, I think some of my favorite memories also are just the opportunity to teach someone. So someone is like, oh, I've seen those, or like, oh, I've always wanted to try those, and you get the chance to like be the one to introduce them and tell them everything about it. And I can't even point to a specific moment really. Those just happen all the time, and you can't really avoid that as a free skater unless you just ignore people, because they're always coming up to ask if you're in public. So I think a lot of us can relate to that one.
That was a cool interaction yesterday with Bo, I think his, or do you remember his name? I forget. But
you're gonna have to remind me. Yesterday,
he had the spikes on his shoes and the nice Christian jeans.
Yeah, shoot, what was his name?
I forget it, but he was freaking out. Gabe was just skating around, doing a few tricks, nothing even that extreme, and he was like, "Nah!" Like, no. First off, he was amazed at our roommate that was riding the one wheel. He was like, "What?" Like, he must have never seen the one wheel. I don't know how you haven't, but he was amazed at our roommate riding the one wheel.
And then
our roommate was like, "No, you think this is crazy? Look at him!" And then Gabe was just doing like maybe Tokyo or inverse Tokyo, like drop back or something, or nothing like too extreme. And then he's like, "Oh, you think?" And then Gabe was like, "You think that's cool?" And then he tries going for kick with switch hits. And he's like, "We all know how to ride." And then I hop on him. It was a super cool interaction.
Yeah, and then I started going on one foot. Some of this stuff, like,
freaking out.
All of us have seen this before, right? But like, I'm going on one foot, or I'm just pumping, or I'm, speeding up and then slowing down. He's just like, his mind is blown. And then we kept pushing him to, well, not pushing him. I don't know. He initially said he didn't want to try, but then we encouraged him a little bit, and he ended up giving it a go. And he was a little freaked out when he stepped on them, but he did think it was really cool, and basically said keep it up. And yeah, we followed him on Instagram. So it's interactions like that are always really fun. That's another one I was going to say. There was one today.
Oh, what, the random free skate or perfect coping ramp?
Yeah, so we moved to a neighborhood in San Diego, and as we were skating through the streets, we found a perfect, how big do you think? Like 5 foot?
I would say almost 4.5, 5 feet or something.
Like a 5 foot quarter pipe with like perfect coping in front of someone's house. They must be giving it away for free, and we're like this close to taking it.
We want it.
And putting it in our yard.
The only problem is our street is like a 25 mile an hour road, and it's pretty popular, or pretty highly trafficked. So
we would need somewhere to put it, or store it at least, and then for like 5 minutes at a time, put it out in our street.
Yeah. And
just skate it, because we got some cool clips. If you follow JMK on Instagram, you'll see some videos of that session we just had. It's like Jack comes home one day and he's like, "Hey, there's a ramp," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
I was bringing our neighbor's dog for a walk, and I was like, "All right, I'm going to take a different route than I usually go on." So I was just kind of exploring the neighborhood, and I come across this ramp, and my free skate mind goes, "Turn around immediately, go tell Gabe."
Maybe we can give a little sneak peek.
Give a teaser.
To show you kind of like the size of the ramp and stuff.
And it's not that this kind of a ramp is like impossible to build by ourselves, but like it's already pre-built, like it's just sitting there down the street.
Well, it's very bright. Let me darken this for you guys. For the video listeners anyways.
Like, come on. Why is that in the middle of the street? They must not.
And then there's Jack, of course, doing some, I know it's blurry, but you'll see the full resolution on Instagram. But just random. We're just skating across that, and we skated that today.
And sometimes I feel like the copings on ramps like that can be very particular, and for free skating they need to be very particular in terms of like being able to do a free flip on it. So it's like it's perfect for free flips and grinds and stuff. So it's not too far out to where you can't drop in. When Gabe showed his drop in, I mean, it's just like a perfect ramp. But
yeah, there is I guess on the subject of being in this area, I'll answer this question first. Kenji says, "Are you guys sure you didn't steal someone's outdoor ramp?" See, we haven't stolen it yet, so you can't say we stole it, but we might be about to steal it with their permission.
We just skated it for like 5 minutes while their dogs barked at us.
Yeah, they had some ferocious dogs indoors. They wanted to bite our ankles off. So yeah, on the subject of being in this area, there was another thing the other night where I think you're used to driving to say you needed milk. You wanted milk.
Oh, yeah.
You wanted to have some cereal.
We wanted some cereal in the morning.
This is very random. But Jack wanted milk in the middle of the night. And he was like, well, we don't have milk. And back in Minnesota, I guess he's used to just driving to a gas station and go get some milk.
Skating.
Skating.
I never drive.
So yeah. Jack said there was a gas station close by, and we're going to go get some milk there. So we start free skating in the pitch black to go get some milk. And we are skating for forever. And I'm like,
over a mile.
Where is this gas station? And he's like, hey, it's close. I'm like, we've been skating more than just close. But of course, we eventually got to the gas station, maybe a mile away.
Yeah, it was a little over a mile, probably.
And the gas station is closed.
Yeah, I didn't look it up.
So I didn't even care. I was like, okay, we just went for a night skate. That's all this was. And we skated back. But it is cool skating with a friend at night in the road when there's no cars.
Yeah, that was a 45-mile-an-hour road where there was no cars. The trees were like, I don't know what kind of trees those are, but they're beautiful.
It had to have been 11, 12, or 1 a.m. We should have known it was closed.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I mean, my gas stations in Minnesota are open 24/7, so I just didn't think to check.
Yeah, it's a bit different out here, but it was a really cool memory. There's another one that happens more often in San Diego when you catch like an old freeliner who didn't even know the sport was still alive. That was actually the person that we ran into with Maddie last time.
Yep.
You can like watch that they still have that old free line style and flow to them.
You can tell an OG when you see one.
Yeah. So always cool to run into them and kind of re-engage, re-spark like this.
Oh, okay. After you said after I said you spot an OG or you see an OG when you see one, a few memories just came into my head right there. Mm-hmm. I got the opportunity to skate with one of my brothers at where he works. There's an auto technician that used to be a sponsored Freeline rider for the old Freeline brand, and being able to skate with him was like, so he's like, I don't know, maybe he's I don't want to say his age because I don't want to be older or younger, but we'll just say 30 because I'm sure he's not older than 40. I don't know. But it was super cool to just see all the old school tricks he was doing in bowls and just the way he was transitioning and stuff. Like, plus his style is just like, you can tell it's an OG rider because like they just have like the weird, I don't know, not weird. It's like just an OG posture / like pumping technique. And on top to branch off of that rider got me in connects with Ryan Farley, the inventor of Freeline skates, which was like one of the coolest experiences ever, being able to pick his brain for like a 2-hour session and just get to know him a little bit personally. And if you guys have seen on one of the podcasts I showed, I had him sign one of the Freeline pairs and authenticate them to make sure they're legit. So I mean, that might be, now that I'm thinking about it, that might be one of my favorite free skate memories because it's like, I feel like it's not too often you get to meet the inventor of a sport, basically.
Yeah, probably not very often.
And that's something I'll just lives in my memory rent free. Super cool.
Nice. That's very cool.
I remember texting you like when I did it, like when I met him, I was like, I met Ryan Bartley.
Yeah. Yes, Zerman said, bring the ramp to JMK HQ. Yeah, we definitely could. We have a ramp there, but this one's definitely nicer for free flips, though.
It might crowd up the area in there, though.
Yeah, maybe we just keep it to ourselves.
Yeah.
Finders, keepers.
Maddie has enough.
Yeah, we have enough toys.
Kyoki developed ramp.
Dan Wick says, hi. Hi, Dan Wick. Peter says, "What's the difference in freeline style?" It's kind of like the way your body sways with the skates, and
overall posture and
very relaxed and flowy.
It kind of reminds me of.
I mean, Kyoki has it.
I was gonna say it reminds me of the way Kyoki and Rena ride.
Yeah, you should see. I especially noticed when I saw Kyoki ride in person.
If you look up Team 64 on Instagram, they have some of the OG style just right away. You can tell.
Kenji says, "Wow, amazing to hear about you meeting Ryan."
Yeah, I gotta post that picture. I got a picture with him, but
I still have yet to meet Ryan. Hopefully that'll happen one day. Just to say, like,
he said he would be down to skate again. I just have never hit him back up.
Cool.
So, and I don't want to like throw him under the bus, but when we were skating, he kind of fell and hurt himself a little bit. But hey, I wanted to give him some time off from the skating scene because he also hadn't skated before that in like years, he said. So I felt bad that like I was the reason he kind of came out there and got hurt.
Yeah, no, but he's all good now.
Yeah, I'm sure he's perfect now, but it definitely didn't look good.
Steph said, "I wonder if there are any free skaters in Chicago going to be there for a couple days. Check out the Free Skater Finder."
I was just on the Free Skate Finder. It is a sea of red right now. It is crazy to be looking at that right now.
Go check it out.
Compared to like the first few days/weeks of it being open, it made some crazy progress. Shout out to Jeff for that again.
Another, I mean, this one's obvious. I guess free skate memory, it has to be any opportunity where I get to go travel somewhere and skate with like other skaters, specifically Mexico, and then China was like the one that started it all. Just running into a bunch of people that know free skating just the same, but they've also been exposed to different riding styles and different tricks. You can share ideas.
Yeah, the clips from those sessions are awesome. I remember seeing those, and I still.
Yeah.
Tsukasa in Mexico and everyone in China.
That was a cool. Tsukasa. We went to Mexico with Kyoki's family and Tsukasa, and then at the back end of that trip, we went to San Diego and shot some videos. And there's a video called Tsukasa Freeskates Street Sesh, I believe. And that video was the first time I just took a free skater and was like, "Hey, we need to film just a video together of you doing a bunch of tricks." If we're not talking about Maddie or Jeff, I'm talking like someone outside of JMK USA. And that was cool to just point my camera at him and just be like, "Do your thing."
Go.
And
it's like letting a dog off a leash and just watching him run through the
right. But he's like probably, one of the top all-around skaters in the world. Let's say like top three all around.
Probably one of the better free skaters I'm looking forward to meeting for sure.
Yeah, no, he's incredible. He's like an OG too, so he has some of that OG freelance style too. But that was cool. The next story isn't really.
You drove me past the area where you recorded that street session with
Yeah.
Tsukasa. He's like, "Oh yeah, this is where I recorded Tsukasa." And I was like, "No way! It's just like a church parking lot, and you wouldn't think twice about it unless you knew that."
It's a legendary spot though. Some incredible tricks were thrown down there. But another random story. I don't know if I told Jack about this. I was not really affiliated with JMK, but I had just ordered my second pair. But that was at a time when I was trying to travel to Atlanta for an event. So I was flying to Georgia with my roommate, and I wanted some new free skates. So I had JMK send them to the house in Atlanta that I was staying at, which is, it wasn't an Airbnb or anything. It was just a friend. So I knew it would be safe. When I got on the plane to go to Georgia, I texted that friend and said, "Are my free skates, there? Are they ready? Did you pick them up?" And then they were like, "Yeah, everything's fine. Ran into a problem, but everything's fine." And that kind of freaked me out. And I said, "What are you talking about?" And they said, like, "You'll see when you get here." So of course they're sitting on the kitchen counter in the house. Everything looks fine, but the box looks a little mangled. So I open it up, and try and put the skates together, and there's an edge guard missing. No, not an edge guard, a shock pad. So I couldn't physically put the skates together.
What? Did the box have a hole and it slipped out? Or did Maddie
No,
mess up?
Maddie didn't mess up either. I was trying to figure out, and then she had to like break it to me. So the dad of this household kept getting packages sent from like the wrong people to that address, and it was like building up over time. And this JMK package was like the last straw for some reason. It was like, all these packages are coming to my house, and I don't want them.
Throw it out the window or what?
So we just threw it in the dumpster.
Oh my god.
So he opened up, he's like, what the heck are these skate things? Closes it, throws it in the trash, and that's the day the trash truck was coming.
It was probably the one and only time that fresh Freeskates have ever got thrown in the dumpster.
Right.
Jeez.
So
What a shame.
I think everything was saved except for, she said she thought she got everything out of the garbage, but I guess one of the clear shock pads.
Did you go dumpster diving for that?
She did.
Oh my god.
She tried to save it and not tell me, and like
Gross.
be like, all right, everything's fine. But there was a clear shock pad that I guess she missed, and that was the same day that the garbage truck came to pick up the garbage.
Did you find it before it came or no?
No.
Oh.
So I couldn't put
What's
together
$3?
my
It's
new
only
free
$3.
skates that I was excited to skate the Georgia Pass with sidewalks and experience skating in Atlanta. Couldn't do it because this dad was fed up with
random
packages. So I had to tell the JMK guys that my skates were thrown away and that I need a new shock pad. Which
they give you one for free? Yeah. $3.
I forget how much I had to pay, but did you pick Ryan's brain on the new JMK Ride model?
Oh, I did ask him about that. I picked his brain just about on everything, but on that specifically, I think I asked more about like just what his thoughts are on like all the different brands coming out now across, because there's a few across the globe globally, and he said he thinks it's cool that the sport's growing to the extent that it is, and he's happy to see it grow because he's got his own career at this point in his life now. So he seemed like he was pretty stoked about the way that the community is growing and the new skate model and everything. Yeah, no, he loved it all.
Oh, moving away from you. I'm trying to move it towards you.
You're good.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome that he's enjoying watching that. There's another story that I have. But first, Steph says, my favorite encounter was meeting the guys and Jack.
Nice,
yeah,
Steph.
That's a favorite one of mine too. Coming to the Third Layer skate park in Minnesota and meeting both Steph and Jack. Or I knew Steph. Did I know Steph already?
I had already visited.
Steph visited first, and then I came to Minnesota to hang with Steph.
First time we ever met?
That's the first time we met.
Really? It was that Third Layer?
Yep. And
I feel like I've known you for so much longer than that because we did like Instagram Live together that one time, and we've just been chatting.
That's the cool thing about Instagram.
Like it just makes you feel like you've known someone for years. It's weird.
Yeah, so skating with them was really cool. Got to film a video. There's a video called Indoor Skate Park Freeskating on YouTube. You can check that out.
That skate park is pretty sweet if you're in Minnesota too.
Yeah, it is. Yep. So that was cool. But then also, what was the?
Oh, were you gonna share another story?
I was gonna share another story, but I'm forgetting what it was. I'm blanking.
Yeah, we're talking left and right, bouncing all over the place.
I'll say this one when it comes to me. But
I haven't even. What about least favorite memories?
Least favorite memories.
I have one.
I don't have a lot of those, but you can go right ahead.
Most of them are falls.
I see.
But there's one. I tried free skating on my trampoline one time, and the skate came up and like dinged up my leg. It hurt a lot. Do not recommend that. Don't try it. Do not try. Other than that, I don't know.
I know of one. Yes, Kenji.
Least favorite or
another favorite. So this was. I had first come to San Diego the first 10 days. My first 10-day trip leading up to China. It was my first time meeting the guys like John and Maddie, and met them once over tacos, and then the next time I had run into Maddie was we were gonna go skate or something, and I was eating at a Wendy's. So Maddie's like, "Where are you at? I'm gonna come pick you up wherever." And I was like, "Oh, Maddie Tice is gonna come pick me up. This is crazy." I'm like, "I'm at this Wendy's." Kind of side note, I'm at this Wendy's talking to a guy because he liked my shirt because it was representative of a like a camera YouTuber we were both interested in, named Peter McKinnon. So we were talking about Peter McKinnon because of a shirt I was wearing. And then we were cut short because Maddie pulled up, picked me up. We went to go to a baseball game or something.
I remember this story.
And once we're parked for baseball, a completely different part of San Diego, I realized I left my skates at the Wendy's. So I was like freaking out because they were that fresh new set that I had found in the trash. They were a white set, so white truck, white deck plate, and then they're like a retro set, green and pink wheels. A couple of you may remember those, but I will go ahead and pull it up.
Oh, is that also the set that got stolen out of your car? As well? Or do you still have them?
These, I don't know what happened to this set, if I'm fully honest.
I haven't seen those in like ever.
But I do have a photo of them right here.
I remember them, yeah.
So this set got left at Wendy's for those of you video watchers.
Super clean set.
My goodness. Is he gonna focus?
Probably not.
Probably not.
It's okay, they
But,
get the point. Got the retro white tape.
So I called them. The people at Wendy's didn't really speak English, which was confusing to me. But they basically didn't. They said there were no skates. They didn't know how to help me. So I was really sad. And then I checked my Instagram, and the guys that I had met talking about YouTube and cameras, we had exchanged Instagram handles really briefly before I left. And they basically said, "Hey, like, we have your skates. Like, you left them here. Like, we don't know where you live, but we took them with us so you can come find us." So I drove to go meet them with Matt after the baseball game, and we had another conversation about cameras as I'm picking these skates up, and turns out that he's best friends with one of my best friends. There's all these different like connected things in the world. I don't know if it has anything to do with being a free skater or just the way life works out, but he knows, she knows. It's a small world is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, the people that have shared interests tend to have probably similar.
It's all connected
kind of thing.
All free skaters seem to know all free skaters, and all people in the camera world seem to know all the photographers, and a lot of weird moments like that living out here in San Diego specifically. But I got my skates back. Don't lose your skates. I guess what you said, though, I don't know if I've ever said on the podcast. There's another memory that is probably my least favorite memory of free skating. And that was when I left 7 pairs of Jeff's free skates in my car.
I'm just going to cover my face for this whole story.
He entrusted me with them for the free skating meetup.
It's so cringe.
It was my first time bringing them back to my home, and I forgot to, at the very least, put them in the trunk. So going to bed that night, I left them wide open in the back seat of my sedan in this really nice hiking bag full of 14 free skates, so 7 pairs.
That's amazing.
From the outside, if you're just someone strolling by, you see a big, nice hiking bag full of heavy stuff. If you're even slightly like a bad person, you're gonna break through the car and steal whatever that is. So he used a boulder, chucked it through my window, and just took the bag. And I found out the next morning when there was glass all over the inside of my car and no free skates. So I had to break it to Jeff that he was out 14 free skates and a hiking bag, and I had to repair a window. That's probably like my least favorite free skating thing.
Yeah, that would suck. And
so up till that point, I had saved a bunch of free skating parts from my time at JMK and just from prior to JMK and everything. So I took that moment to donate all what I had and kind of replenish, because they were our demo sets for our free skating meetups. So kind of had to be done. And now we have demo sets again, and all is good in the world. But definitely my least favorite memory.
That probably is one of John and Jeff and Maddie's as well, probably. One of them, maybe.
Yeah, they weren't too happy, but like, I mean, what can you do? I mean, it's a lesson learned.
It's not your fault.
It's a lesson learned. I no longer leave anything in my car.
It just sucks that there's that.
Such a sad, tragic free skate story. Sorry, Gabe. Yes, a travesty, really.
Yeah, that was a bummer.
Do you guys in the chat have any favorite memories?
Yeah, if you guys have anything, let's hear it.
Or the lurkers in the chat that haven't said anything yet.
We're not the only ones that get all the eyes when we're free skating. Anyone that hops on the skates has some good stories, I'm sure.
Kenji says, hope the thief are all free skaters now. Honestly, they probably stole the hiking bag to use for whatever it is they're carrying around on the streets or whatever, and they probably threw away the skates somewhere. Because I never saw them on.
You don't throw away something like that. They sold them on Facebook Marketplace.
No, I was watching all the apps.
Oh, yeah, true. You're right. Me and my brother would have bought them too if they sold them in the Midwest.
Who knows? Maybe they sold them at a garage sale, so they're more under the radar or something.
You gotta go under the radar. Yeah.
I checked all the local dumpsters. I was driving all around.
There's no way that they knew how to ride them though, so they didn't take them knowing that they were. They just took them because they were.
I think Kenji has too much faith in this thief.
Hope the thief were all.
Yeah,
that is a funny comment. At least he lightened up the story.
Yeah, I think that's what a couple people told me too in person. They were like, "Well, hit on the bright side. They have some free skates now." And well, it's just you would like to think that they took that opportunity to learn the greatest sport in the world.
Teach all their friends, their thief friends.
They probably don't have any friends.
They probably don't have any. That's good.
But yeah.
I'm trying to think of even more.
I'll think of another one. Okay. I'll just keep going.
I got another one, but it's really quick.
Sure.
One of my favorite moments at a skate park was probably like 5 or 6 years into free skating. After I had learned to throw back, I started throwing them up the quarter pipe a little bit and leading my way into what would become a throwback free flip. And I remember like at one point I just like committed to it, and I was like, it's just like you have an epiphany that like learning things on flat ground and getting more comfortable in a park gets you to that progression point of like, whoa, I feel like a really good rider. And when I landed my first throwback free flip, I remember just being like, what? I'm capable of that? I just never thought that I would be that, like, for me, I think that's like a really good trick. And I feel like it still is. But I remember being really proud of myself because I was like, wow, I just blew my own mind that that's possible under my own feet. Because I usually am used to looking at like someone in China or Japan or Maddie or whoever doing that trick. And that'll always be like a really cool memory for me because I just committed to it. Probably a little bit before I should have too, but I just I'd been really comfortable with the throwbacks for a while, and I was like, you know what? I think I have it. I just haven't tried it. So I tried it, and I got it like first and second try. I should show you my first try. My footing was wrong or incorrect on the landing, so I redid it, and I landed it second try way better, and that's the first free flip clip I ever posted. So that's a really cool memory for me.
That's cool.
Landing your first trick, you have to have a good memory like that too. Where you're like, what?
I have a good trick memory from today. We just skated to
oh my gosh, yeah, I can't believe
we just skated to the dollar store, and I was like, hey Jack, check this out. And we're by a curb, like we're about to walk into the dollar store, and he's like, what are you gonna do? Early grab, no grab, flip, like all these different things, and he couldn't like say the trick that I was gonna do. I just skated up to the curb and did a kickflip, switch it down the curb, which is where you pass, flip it back, and you like swap them.
Just perfect. It was absolutely perfect.
And times like that are when I stop skating and I stop testing my luck because I'm like, okay, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, he just hopped off the skates.
That's less of an encounter, but more of a cool memory from literally today. Just on a quick store run. But as far as an encounter, one of my first and favorite ones in San Diego was like first month I was here. Those of you in the Instagram free skating community know who Serenaded Abyss is, and he took a trip to San Diego, and we met up. And I made a video on my personal channel about that, and that was a really, really fun time. It's cool looking back at that video and seeing where both me and him are at in terms of what we can and can't do on the skates, and just overall how we look.
He's been trying for kickflip switch-its recently, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, he's doing some cool stuff.
Some pretty crazy levels.
Yeah, we're both miles ahead of where we were. What was that? That was over 3 years ago that we met up, which is crazy. He needs to come back. But that was one of my first really cool memories. And then there was one more that I wanted to talk about. Cool memory. There's a shop in Little Italy in downtown San Diego where it's a big coffee shop inside a warehouse, but then they also lend the space out to other local businesses that can have these little shops along the way to the coffee bar. So you got like plant stores, craft stores, like jewelry. You have a barber shop inside the coffee shop. And one of the barbers saw my Freeskates, and he randomly just like stopped doing barber stuff, and he grabbed my Freeskates and rode away.
What?
I was like, what?
You gotta do that if you're a Freeskater and you see someone, you'd be like, hey.
Yeah, so that was random, but
you're known to do that nowadays. I've been skating here for like a week and a few days now, and he steals my skates whenever I'm not looking at him.
Well, is that a thing I do?
Just one of them though. Like, I
am kind of a skate thief. Maybe this thief guy from earlier is rubbing off on me. I'm a little bit salty.
I'll be like talking to someone, and he'll drop his skate and pick up mine, and it's like, what do you think, this is a game?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I do it all the time to everybody. Warning if you ever skate with me. BS Zero Man says blowing out a hub on a JMK wheel at the skate park. That takes some skill.
That takes some skill.
What on earth were you doing? I'm very curious.
Wait, is that a bad memory or a good one?
That's the question. I think it's just a memory in general. I think it looks like he found it funny, so maybe it's a little bit of both. Abe Lender says I brought my Freeskates to a lightsaber meetup during Comic-Con.
I saw that.
Someone saw me on them and asked about them. I showed her how they work, and then she committed to buying a pair that night. That's crazy. Cool. A lightsaber meetup at a Comic-Con on Freeskates. This is a crazy world.
That is how you inspire someone. You're just watch out.
Were you in an Obi-Wan costume, or I think I do remember the exact video.
I remember that.
This dude hasn't seen Star Wars, so there's that.
They're making me watch it.
We're doing
I want to watch it, but like they're getting me to watch it. They have all the movies.
We're doing a quick marathon, or we tried to yesterday.
I keep falling asleep.
He's not interested. Abe Lender says never
start them at like 11 o'clock. Okay?
Yeah. Abe Lender says never exchanged contacts or even first names, but she found me and thanked me on Instagram after my Freeskating as a Jedi reel showed up in her feed. That's cool that you guys didn't exchange, and then social media brought you guys together anyways. Kenji says I love stealing people's skates too. That's like the best thing about Freeskates.
The tricks are way cooler, but it's funny.
The best thing about Freeskates is it teaches you to steal things from others. Wow. Incredible.
Gabe would like to say it's a long-term borrow.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. It was an awesome memory, blowing out your hub. You're like, oh, look how hard I just skated. This is amazing.
That's funny. I have cracked my wheel to where it's split in half one time while I was skating because I was spinning, and I think that I don't know what force that is, but it split it apart.
Depending on your form, riding Freeskates, your wheels can do weird things. Like sometimes they wear flat, but then sometimes they wear like to one end, like a trumpet, and they like go like that.
That completely depends on the path you ride, your style, and
the type of terrain you're hitting.
Yeah.
How fast you're going, how hard you're carving. It depends on basically everything.
What I noticed is if you stay within a skate park that has very smooth paths, like Burnsville Skate Park where me and Steph skate, I had completely flat wheels until they were all the way down. And honestly, I think I still have them to where they're still rideable and they're flat. So it's all about the path and what you ride, and your like patterns or your like habits of like how you ride. So
there's a guy named Marco in the San Diego area who has a really strong stride, and he wears wheels, even though he's not going down super big hills. He wears wheels faster than anyone I've ever seen, and he's always coming in to buy new wheels.
Oh, Marco, I met him at Savita.
Yeah.
Super cool dude.
Super powerful stride, and he wears his wheels super flat. Yeah, it's different for everybody. These are relatively new. Yeah, it looks like they're worn pretty evenly for now. What about yours?
Mine you're okay. Could be better.
They were flats, right?
Yeah, they were. They're getting less and less flat by the ride. But we don't live on a super smooth road, and I don't really focus on it a ton.
Yeah. So, cool. Let's see. Is there any other cool memories on Freeskates that we haven't shared? I'm sure there's a ton. So it's just hard to.
They come up as you bring others up.
Yeah.
But
they're all connected.
Yeah.
Showing people the JMK shop, I think, as someone that works there, is always cool because I feel like it's the same for everybody. They've watched JMK, whether it's for the past month or the past, 3 or 4 years. If it's their first time visiting San Diego, like the first place they're going to visit is this shop.
Yeah.
And it's like a kid in a candy shop every time. And it's cool to be one of the people kind of being like, okay, so this is the storefront. This is the office. Go skate our ramp, but sign the waiver first. Come to our free skate meetups.
I didn't sign a waiver.
You won't want to miss our Thursday skate or our Friday skate. Like, show them everything there is to do for free skating in San Diego and kind of give them that whole experience if possible. It's a fun way to meet somebody and kind of form that relationship, and they'll want to come back and possibly even move here.
Yeah, that was fun. Me and our roommates biked down to the JMK shop yesterday, and there just so happened to be one of John's relatives or nephew or something. Was he?
I have no idea.
I don't know how long he's been free skating, but he was just watching Gabe free skate in the back, and then I don't think Maddie was there, so it was cool that I showed up right, maybe towards the end of when he was there, and I was like, oh, I can show you dropping in, and then I just started riding the ramp. That's always a super cool thing to see. I haven't seen it too much, but seeing a few, or actually I did see that family that came in the other week. That was cool, showing them and teaching their son how to free skate. It just, you can tell it's like a very meaningful experience for someone who's never really got the chance to ride with someone at a certain level of riding. Or
sometimes when they come in, we'll even go the extra step of they actually want to go for a skate, so we'll just drop what we're doing and go to the boardwalk, show them the rock that we do tricks off of.
That was like me.
Show them a stretch of the main stretch of the boardwalk that we always skate on in the videos and stuff, and kind of give them that whole treatment. It's fun showing people around. It's got to be one of the favorite things as well. When
I biked past that rock, there was someone like a little boutique or something, and I was like, that rock's famous, right? And they just look over at it like they're like expecting it to talk or something. Or I don't know. I'm like, no, it's just, if you know, it's a famous rock, very famous. To the free skate community, that is like the best and most OG flinger that there is. If you know what a flinger is, or what else would you call it? Like a wall bounce trick too.
Yeah, it was a flinger ramp, flinger trick. Tenchi says my favorite memory was just meeting random people at skate spot for the first time and figuring out they have a pair and we're trying to learn it as well. Nice. So you've met free skaters in person.
That's cool.
That was cool. That's cool. Very, very cool.
Oh, speaking of that rock, that has to be one of my favorite memories too. Just watching Maddie hit that for the first time when I came down here. That was like surreal seeing. And then he also went off a jump that was right next to some skateboarders had set up, and it was he just did an early grab off of it. Now I'm thinking I could maybe try something like that after. I've been getting into early grabs recently, but I don't know if I could do it. But it was just super cool to see him do that. I remember recording he did it every time, or maybe he failed 1 or 2 times, but he did it back to back, and then went for a little flip on the end of it. It's super cool to see that. And watching him ride the boardwalk, doing toe drags on the sand, just seeing it first person, I will never forget that. That was super cool. And riding with you and Jeff and that was just a surreal experience.
Yeah, another cool memory of mine is Kenji says, "Please protect the rock at all times."
Yes, protect the rock.
Yes. One of my favorite memories is back to Su Casa in San Diego. So we went to Mexico first, came back to the U.S., and that's when the U.S. shut down. Like for when the world was going to crap in March of 2020, and it was to the point where they were kicking people off the boardwalk. If you were outside, they said, go indoors. Like people were getting ticketed for being outside and in public. But we, the savages that we were, we went and skated anyways, and went to the Rock to try. And I wanted to show Sakasa because he had never been to America. He had never seen the Rock in person. So I was like trying to film some shots of him landing it, and he never ended up landing it.
What?
Because he got like 2 swipes at it, and then a security came up to us and was like, "You gotta leave." So I was like, quick, sit on the rock. So I like took a photo of him sitting on the rock, and that's all we got.
That's iconic, though. I mean, still, Picasso is just a good enough rider to where he doesn't even need.
But like, come on, he had seen Maddie and everything in all the videos doing it. And I'm sure he really wanted it.
He's coming back. He's coming back. Don't worry.
He's got to redeem himself there. But
when do you think traveling is going to open up in Japan?
I'm not sure.
I saw a reel saying something about travel.
Wonder if does it focus if I do this, or does it not? I guess.
Oh, there we go.
There he is.
Casa
on the rock.
Legend.
It keeps brightening up for me. I'm gonna show it one more time. There we go. So, pretty legendary photo right there. He never actually hit it, but
Another legendary photo was the one you used to hang in your old bathroom, just you and him.
Oh, I had an empty photo frame, so there was a Polaroid of us that I had to put somewhere. So, yeah, I got a couple photos around the house of free skaters and stuff. It's a really
cool memory.
There's some really important memories. I could go on and on about China, but I've already made a video about that, so won't beat that one. That's most of the big, like, random encounters I've had.
Yeah, I mean, there's always like,
there's the small ones. There's
like I got kicked out of the U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis for because I skated up. They do roller skating in the indoor like circle loop that is surrounding the stadium.
Yeah,
super nice concrete. So I was like naturally like, ooh, can I get in there? And when I get up to the door, I realize everyone has a helmet on, so I was like, oh, I can't even skate. But then I wasn't even like trying to get in. As I'm skating up to look at the inside of the place, there's a security guard that's like, hey, you can't be over here on those wheels or whatever. And then he's kicking me out. So I'm starting to skate away. And then he tells me to come back. He's like, wait a minute, what are those? And then it's like, do you want me to leave or do you want me to come, like, make up your mind? And
it is funny with security guards because most of the time they don't really know what to say, so they don't say anything at all. That, at least in my experience, security guards just kind of, they stand back and they watch. Or cops or whoever, they're just like, they either tell you it's cool, they ask about it, or they just kind of stay quiet. Yeah, very limited times for me. I mean, I've had rink owners, like indoor rink owners, tell me to stop way faster than any security guard or anything. I mean, but the rink owners are very particular about, it has to be roller skates or something. But
you just gotta act like you're roller skating. You turn your torso a little bit.
Yeah. Put straps on the skates or something. DIY it. Who knows? But I think that's it. All the moments I have to share, unless another one comes to mind. We'll move into a brief Q&A for if anybody has any questions or anything to add. Thank you all for being here. Otherwise, we'll probably wrap up.
Yeah, I guess to finish off, one of my favorite places to skate was in my room because I tore the carpet up out of my room. And that's just always like going to be in my memory of like skating in that small of a space and mastering what it takes to like just maneuver and balance in all sorts of different positions and spin. Like I can do like 1260s in a singular space without knocking over my chair or hitting my bed or anything. And it's like it trained me so well that it's like a core memory for me at this point. Just like skating in a really small place in my basement. It's hilarious. But I had to because it was winter, so there's no outside.
It has paid off. All that training has trained you well. Kenji says another favorite memory of mine was holding the free skates while buying food, and the workers were just like, "What on earth are those?" Nice. I like riding my free skates absolutely everywhere. It's just amazingly convenient. It truly is.
The more like you almost never I don't know, like skating to the airport or something, or like skating while you're waiting in line for food. The more random of a place you're in when you're skating, I feel like the more like eyes you'll get in terms of like how the people are just so curious, and that's always a really fun memory.
Yes.
What on earth?
Riding them in college as a whole is probably my final thing. It's just riding them in college is where I learned. That's where I found them. That's where I first got to teach others. That's where I got my first experience free skating with other people. Like college was a whole fun chapter that I won't forget. Lots of cool interactions there. But
I skated the U of M campus a few times, and that's always a good time. I mean, I don't think they have a club over there. If I went to that college, if I went to college at all, I would have probably started one. But I've always just thought it was super cool to show them to kids my age and just get the eyes of like, what are you guys doing? Let's start something. I don't know.
mm-hmm.
U of M campus is really beautiful to skate through and very populated. You always get a lot of people looking. But yeah, for the most part, I think we covered the majority of like the cool stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree. Thank you, everyone, for joining this episode of the Freeskates podcast. Kenji, Michael, Steph, Jason, Peter, everyone else, Dan Wick, thank you for joining, guys. And I will see you next week, episode 45, very, very soon. Thanks for joining, guys. Gotta get my free skates. Thanks for watching, and remember to roll with us. All right, later.